Alright, so this is my new 6x12 short track dump trailer with the telescopic lift. Has the 10K axles, and I put some walls on it. It's the 2x12 with 2x4 pickets, half-inch lag bolts, and then what I also did was recess with a spade bit the nuts down so that it's a flush wall all the way down. I also put, this is my note sheet, I also put a tool holder there, and then I have the tarp, which we'll talk about later. Another thing that I've done is put fluid film. I do this in all my trailers. Fluid film goes underneath, and it's just a substance that keeps the frame lubricated. And it's, I just did it, but as you drive, it'll collect, dirt and dust and get caked on there, so that when the salt hits it, it doesn't affect it, or it takes a longer time to affect it due to rust. So I personally think it's well worth it. This whole trailer cost me about $100 to fluid film. So I guess the first thing people want to know about, because I've been having problems when I did my research finding good videos, the telescopic lift. So I guess the first thing I'll talk about is the lift. In my first dump trailer I have the single ram, and that did well for 90% of what I needed, except for heavy dirt, heavy materials like concrete, or when I filled to the brim with mulch. And it really wasn't a factor of buying a new one that I needed a new lift, but I said in the next one I buy, it's going to be the heavy duty lift. I mean, this thing is just beefy. I mean, this is half-inch steel, and the cylinder itself is, I think, a 3 or 4 inch cylinder. I think 3 inch. So it's definitely a beefy cylinder. It came at a price tag of $800 more than the single ram, but I think it's well worth it. The dump angle, first of all, is a lot taller. It gets a little steeper. And also, it'll anything you put in here that could possibly fit, it'll lift. There's gonna be no questions about it. It is the gravity up, the power up, gravity down. And I'll take my controller and show you. And I guess I'll jump ahead while I'm here. One of the first cons of this trailer from SureTrack is you spend $10,000 and this is your lift. There's no hydraulic cylinder like on my much cheaper Brymar. So that's one thing that kind of stinks. Here's the reservoir and the battery. So going up, it does sound like it's working hard, but it's just the way it works. It goes up a little slower than the single ram for sure, way slower, but it's going to be pushing out more power. So I guess I'll leave it here and take a look under. 2 ramps, cross bracing, tubular frame. At first I was a little worried about the tubular frame. I didn't really like the idea of being enclosed so rust can get in. I like the C channel where it's kind of open, but they assured me that they haven't had problems in the 10-15 years they've been selling these, so I took their word. Yeah, I would also like to maybe see some space used here, maybe a tray like some of the other models have, or more cross bracing. Can't be that more expensive to do that. But yeah, it's about that for underneath. But the gravity down is definitely slow. You'll see. The gravity down is definitely slower, but I think it's worth it because you don't need power going down. It's going to waste battery, and if something ever happens where the battery dies while it's up, it's always going to come down. So that's I guess the only con of a telescopic, if it's a little bit slower to lift and to lower. And then I also show a heavy duty jack here. It's pretty good. It's hand crank, and there is an option to put the smaller jacks in here like the other trailers have. So I guess I'll go over some of the pros and cons now. I'm going to make this quick as possible because I wish I had a video like this. I could just show me the little things that you can't see in other videos. But so the first pro about this is what I believe is the powder coat. I looked at a bunch of trailers and I fluid filmed it, so I was looking at every nook and cranny, and it's powder coated very well. Every corner is powder coated, even inside of here. Like, that's the fluid film you see, but everything is deeply powder coated. And I I checked this trailer really deep and I didn't see any misses with the powder coat, so I think that's a huge plus from trac. I have heard from friends of mine that, you know, oh, it froze there, but from friends of mine told me that they really like their trac because the paint holds up so well, and the dealer also told me that one of their biggest selling points, hands down, was their powder coating. So that's one huge pro for this. The second thing is a one-piece solid floor. Now, of course, I have my reasons why I went through 6x12 rather than 7x12 or 7x14, and I can make a whole video on that, why I did that. But one perk about this is it's a single piece floor and it's fully welded to the walls. And I think that's huge because, first of all, it's less seams, and you know, every seam reduces rigidity, and it also adds another spot for rust to form. So I guess that's another pro. And then with that is the groove in the walls. You know, some other trailers like my Brymore had, it was just a single piece wall. And the problem with that is, you know, with anything, the wider something gets, the more flexible it gets. So adding these indents and ridges really increases the strength of these walls without adding weight. So I think that's one huge perk with this trailer. I know the Diamond C trailers have it, but I think this is a little better design than that. Next pro is, you know, these ramps are super heavy duty. I mean, that's also one of my cons. You know, these ramps are so heavy duty that they're almost, if you're going to be using the ramps every day, it could be a little troublesome. You know, I'm a fairly fit guy. I'm not huge, but you know, these ramps are definitely hard. I think I would guess they're close to 150, 200 pounds for these things. I mean, they're so heavy. But I guess, you know, that's what you get for getting heavy duty. The other thing, this is very small, but getting these out, they put the pin on the wrong side. So you're having to flex all the way back here to get it and then come back around. It should have just been a quick up and here. You shouldn't have to go all the way around to do it. Again, that's probably something stupid, but it's just one of those inconvenience factors. What else? One thing I do like about this trailer is the D-rings are on the side. Some of the trailers, and the trailer I had before, had D-rings on the floor, which would always catch on stuff. So that, you know, that was really annoying, and this is actually a good idea. And also they have a winch one there, so you could hook up a winch or something to pull something in with the D-ring in the middle, as you can see there. Such a huge pro with this. Now I guess we'll talk about the cons really quickly. One of the biggest cons happened actually when I first bought the trailer. So when I first got the trailer, like I said, I did all this maintenance to the walls, the fluid film and everything, and then I went to go grease everything. So I started greasing, boom, 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 and they kept pulling out as I was pulling the grease gun out. And I was kind of concerned and also frustrated how a brand new trailer can this happen to. A brand new trailer can have this happen to it, my bad. So I called the dealer and he said that's one of tracs biggest downsides, that they have all push-in grease shirts, which means they're not threaded, they're just a compression fit. So that's really annoying because I had to go through and tap and buy new grease shirts. I did them here and I did a couple there. I'm just kind of doing it as I go because, you know, I'm not going to go do things that aren't broken like these that are from the factory. But these here obviously broke, and also one on the hydraulic cylinder broke. So that was really annoying. So one con about this trailer definitely is the grease shirts are push-in. Yeah, not cool, especially when you spend 10 grand and you have to start fixing stuff right away. The next thing I have issues with is with the walls. So I guess the first issue, and these are small issues, all these issues are small and they're just subjective, and it's something I would probably do better. I'm just telling people these are something I wish I knew before I bought the trailer. Not that it's deal breaker, but it's just something, it's information. The 2x4 pickets holders are too wide. They're about a ½ inch too wide, or maybe a ¼ inch too wide. So a 2x4 doesn't really fit that firm, and there is a little movement. You know, you could put shims in there, but like I said, the little thought to move this a little smaller would have been nice. The other thing is my Brymore trailer has pickets on the end. And you know, if you're gonna only put one wall, it's great. This setup is great, but most people that are gonna use the trailer are gonna put 2 walls to add the height, and there's really no strength in this top one. I had to put a long screw diagonally. So that's one thing that's like, come on, that's such an easy thing to do, is put one more picket here and make this way stronger, but it's something that they decided not to do. The next thing is the tarp position and the tarp length on the short tracks. Now this is, again, a subjective design. Some people like it, some people won't. I guess if you don't put any walls, or if you put just one set of walls, it's okay, the design. But I just think I like it on my Brymar where it's mounted to the top wood. As you can see, it's kind of recessed. Let me go in there. It's kind of recessed down into the metal. And the problem with this is, when you have a lot of stuff pushed against the back here, your tarp is in the way of putting debris against the back wall. And it also eats up 6 to 8 inches. If you're gonna put like a pallet, you're not gonna be able to get all the way to it. So I guess that's one con. It's a weird angle. You have to go up first and then across, and it just wastes tarp. And then with that is, this is a 6x12, and they give you exactly 6x12 feet of tarp, which I don't agree with, because once most people are gonna wrap above with the tarp, and you need at least an extra 4, at least 2, maybe 4 feet to wrap all the way around and come down. So that's one thing where that should really be an option, or they should really give you more tarp, because when you span out all the way, there's no tarp left on the spool. So that they really just gave you the bare minimum there, which is kind of frustrating. Once again, it's such an easy thing they could have done different. The next thing is on my list was the trailer box, but I already showed you that with the cylinder. So just to show you how strong this stuff really is, this is all beefy stuff. There's nothing unstable about it. Nice and shut, and then there's just a little hook there at the bottom that comes in and turns, and you put it in like that. This thing's in the way, but whatever. Nice little hook. So overall, it's a great trailer. I think it was a good purchase, and I'd probably buy this again. I guess a couple things, maybe words of advice. It could probably help someone else, because I was trying to find videos like this and I couldn't find really anything, so maybe it helps someone out. But I guess words of advice. First thing, with dump trailers, bigger is always better. I bought a 6x12 for multiple reasons. First of all, because my driveway is tight. So the full width is going to be 6 foot 9 inches on a 6x12. If I got a 7 foot, it would have been 7 foot 9 inches, almost 8 feet. And my driveway is exactly 7 foot 10 inches wide, because there's a big rock and a tree in the way. So I could have done it, but it would have been like a Olympic sport to back this in precisely every time. So I got a smaller one. And also, looking at the jobs I did last year, a lot of the times my dump trailer just fit where I needed it to go to be really nice and accessible for a machine to dump something into it or something. So that's one other reason why I went with the 6x12, is because it's just more compact. Yes, with these walls, I probably have about 9.5 to 10 yards worth of space. With the 7 foot by 12, I probably would have picked up another 2 yards, which is, valuable real estate. But for me, it just wasn't worth it. I upgraded with this trailer from this trailer because of a couple things. First of all, the single piece gate. Second of all, there's no ramps. And third, the single piston. And fourth, this is also a very residential grade. You can see how thin these walls are. This is the Brymar 6x12. It's a great trailer. I'm going to keep it. It made me a lot of money, and it did everything I needed to. But I just bought this new trailer because, excuse the mess, I'm moving my stuff, but I bought this trailer for a couple reasons. First of all, I needed the extra couple feet. I wanted to get the 14 foot, but it was going to be a couple months on back order, so I didn't have the patience. But what I really wanted is, I wanted to be able to fit a pallet and a Toro Dingo in this thing in one shot, which I couldn't do with the 10 foot. It was just too tight. I also need the ramps and the doors, obviously. So that's all reasons why I did this. And in my search, I also looked for other trailers, such as the Diamond C But the problem with them is they're a lot more expensive. For this same spec, they're like $1,500 to $2,000 more. And also they were on back order, and they also, I just think I didn't like a couple things about it, you know, with the paint quality. And also just a couple of the, you know, the mechanisms they had felt a little cheaper than the short track. And, you know, it also came down to the dealer support. This dealer is 30 minutes for me. The Diamond Sea trailer was 2 hours for me. So if something were to go wrong, it's nice to have the dealer near you. Yeah, but if you have any questions, let me know. And hopefully I answered some questions. I answered the ones at least that I wanted to know. So, yeah, let me know if you want anything else.